The photograph was black and white. At exactly 10:23 p.m. on March 28, 1973, inside the grand ballroom of the Beverly Wilshire Hotel in Los Angeles, two legends sat side by side at a table reserved for the evening's most distinguished guests. Bruce Lee had been invited to the International Film Achievement Awards as a presenter. Enter the Dragon was in post-production. Hollywood was finally paying attention. Sophia Loren had been invited as a recipient. Lifetime Achievement in International Cinema. 40 years of work recognized in a single evening. They had never met before. They would never meet again. But what happened between them during that ceremony, captured in a single photograph that was never released to the public, would reveal something about Bruce Lee that no martial arts demonstration, no fight scene, no interview had ever shown. The moment Sophia Loren pulled an old photograph from her purse and placed it on the table in front of Bruce Lee, everything changed. This is the story of that photograph, the connection it revealed, and the tears that two legends shared while the rest of Hollywood pretended not to watch. Los Angeles, March 1973. The International Film Achievement Awards was a smaller ceremony than the Oscars or the Golden Globes. More intimate, more international, designed to honor filmmakers from around the world who had contributed to cinema across borders. Bruce Lee's invitation had surprised him. He was not yet a Hollywood star. Enter the Dragon hadn't been released. His fame was primarily Asian, his films primarily distributed in markets that American audiences barely knew existed. But Warner Brothers had pushed for his inclusion. They wanted to build anticipation for their upcoming release. Having Bruce Lee walk the red carpet, present an award, rub shoulders with established Hollywood royalty, all of it served their marketing strategy. Bruce understood the game. He had played it before, in smaller ways, during his Green Hornet days. He knew how to be useful to studios while simultaneously building his own profile. He arrived with Linda at 7:45 p.m. The red carpet was modest compared to the major award shows. Fewer photographers, fewer screaming fans, more industry professionals, distributors, international press. Inside, they found their assigned table. Near the front, good seats, visible placement. The table card next to Bruce's seat read simply, Sophia Loren. Linda raised an eyebrow. That's quite a dinner companion. Bruce smiled. Let's see if she shows up. These things always have last-minute changes. She showed up. At 8:30 p.m., Sophia Loren entered the ballroom with the kind of presence that silenced conversations. She was 53 years old and still possessed the magnetic beauty that had made her an international icon. But more than beauty, she carried authority. Decades of work, hundreds of roles, battles won against studios, critics, cultural barriers. She moved through the room greeting colleagues, accepting congratulations, playing the part of honored guest with practiced grace. When she reached her table and saw the young Asian man in the seat beside hers, she paused. Their eyes met. Something passed between them. Recognition of some kind. Not personal. Something else. You must be Bruce Lee, she said. Her accent was warm, Italian, exactly as millions of filmgoers knew it. Bruce stood and offered his hand. Miss Loren, it's an honor. She took his hand but didn't shake it. She held it, studied his face. I've seen your films, she said. All of them. My son showed them to me. Bruce's expression shifted. Surprise. This was unexpected. The Big Boss. Fist of Fury. Way of the Dragon. She smiled. You fight like you're dancing. I've never seen anything like it. Thank you. Bruce was genuinely moved. Coming from you, that means a great deal. Sophia released his hand and took her seat. Bruce followed. The ceremony began. Awards were presented. Speeches were made. The usual rhythm of industry self-congratulation. But at their table, a different conversation was developing. Subscribe and leave a comment. Because what Sophia Loren said next would lead to the moment no one expected. During a break between awards, Sophia turned to Bruce. You remind me of someone, she said. Someone I knew a very long time ago. Bruce waited. A young man I met in Rome in 1958. Just a boy, really. He was working as an extra on a film I was shooting. Very small role. Background. Nobody. She paused, remembering. But there was something about him. The way he moved. The way he watched everything. Learning, absorbing. He had the same look in his eyes that you have. Bruce was intrigued. What happened to him? Sophia shook her head. I don't know. I never saw him again after that production. But I always wondered. He had something special. Something that couldn't be taught. She looked at Bruce directly. When I saw your films, I thought of him. The same energy, the same determination, the same refusal to be invisible. Bruce was quiet for a moment. I spent years being invisible, he said finally. In Hollywood. In America. People looked right through me. Saw the face, the accent, the foreignness. Never saw me. Sophia nodded. I know that feeling. When I started, they wanted me to change my name. To lose my accent. To become someone else. Someone more acceptable. What did you do? I refused. She smiled, but there was steel behind it. I told them that Sophia Loren was who I was. And if they wanted someone else, they could find someone else. It took years, but eventually they accepted me on my terms. Bruce leaned back. That's exactly what I've been doing. Refusing to be what they want me to be. Insisting on being who I am. And look at us now. Sophia gestured at the ballroom. Sitting at the front table. Being honored by the industry that tried to erase us. Bruce laughed softly. It's a strange victory. The best victories always are. The conversation continued through the next several awards. They talked about families. About children. About the sacrifices that fame demanded and the rewards it sometimes provided. They talked about Italy and Hong Kong. About cultures misunderstood by Hollywood. About the exhaustion of constantly explaining yourself to people who didn't want to understand. They talked like old friends, though they had met only an hour before. At 10:15 p.m., Sophia was called to the stage to receive her Lifetime Achievement Award. She gave a graceful speech, thanking collaborators, acknowledging challenges, speaking about the importance of international cinema in a world that needed connection more than ever. When she returned to her seat, she was carrying the award trophy. She set it on the table, then reached into her purse. I want to show you something, she said to Bruce. Something I've never shown anyone in this industry. She withdrew a small photograph. Old. Worn at the edges. Black and white. Bruce looked at it. For 3 full seconds, he didn't move. The photograph showed a young woman, perhaps 18 years old, standing in front of a modest house. She was thin, wearing simple clothes, her hair pulled back practically. Behind her, laundry hung on a line. The setting was clearly poor, clearly European, clearly decades ago. That's me, Sophia said. Naples. 1952. Before everything. Before films. Before fame. Before Sophia Loren. Bruce stared at the photograph. I was nobody. A girl from poverty. Illegitimate. Mocked for my appearance. Told I was too tall, too thin, too strange-looking to ever amount to anything. She touched the edge of the photograph. I keep this to remember. To never forget where I started. To never lose touch with the girl who had nothing except the determination to become something. Bruce's hands were trembling slightly as he held the photograph. Why are you showing me this? Sophia looked at him with an intensity that cut through all the Hollywood performance, all the celebrity armor, all the protective layers they both wore. Because I see that girl in you, she said. Not literally, but the essence, the hunger, the refusal to accept the limitations others place upon you. She paused. And because I think you need to remember something tonight. Something that's easy to forget when you're surrounded by all of this. She gestured at the ballroom, the awards, the famous faces. You are not here because Hollywood finally decided to accept you. You are here because you refused to disappear. Because you built something they couldn't ignore. Because the girl from Naples and the boy from Hong Kong have something in common that no privilege, no connection, no head start can ever replicate. Her voice softened. The will to exist. To matter. To refuse erasure. Bruce looked at the photograph again. Then at Sophia. Then at the photograph. His eyes were wet. I have a photograph too, he said quietly. From San Francisco. 1964, I was demonstrating martial arts in empty gymnasiums. Teaching private lessons for grocery money. Nobody knew my name. Nobody came to my shows. He touched his chest. I keep it here. In my mind. The memory of who I was before any of this. Before the films. Before the fame. Before Bruce Lee became something the world recognized. Sophia reached over and placed her hand on his. Never lose that memory. It's the most valuable thing you own. More valuable than any award, any record, any success. Bruce looked down at their hands. Hers elegant, experienced. His calloused from training. 2 completely different lives, 2 completely different journeys, connected in this single moment by something that transcended all their differences. He was crying now. Silently. The tears of someone recognizing themselves in another person's struggle. Sophia was crying too. They sat like that for perhaps 30 seconds. Not speaking. Not performing. Just two human beings who understood something about each other that no interview could capture, no biography could explain. Then Sophia gently retrieved her photograph and returned it to her purse. "Keep fighting," she said. "Not with your fists. With your existence. Every day you refuse to be invisible is a victory." Bruce wiped his eyes. He didn't try to hide the emotion. "You too," he said. "Keep reminding them who Sophia Loren really is. The girl from Naples who became undeniable." Sophia smiled. The girl from Naples never left. She's still here, under all of this. Still hungry. Still determined. Still refusing. Share and subscribe. Because the photograph that was taken next has never been seen. A photographer approached the table. Professional. Discreet. Working for one of the European entertainment magazines. "Miss Loren, Mr. Lee, may I take a photograph of you together?" Sophia looked at Bruce. Bruce nodded. They posed together. Sophia elegant in her evening gown, holding her lifetime achievement trophy. Bruce composed, dignified, every inch the emerging international star. The photographer took several shots. Standard celebrity images for magazine publication. But then Sophia did something unexpected. "One more," she said to the photographer. "But different." She reached into her purse again and withdrew the old photograph. The girl from Naples. 1952. She held it up between them. Looked at the photographer. "This one." The photographer hesitated, confused by the request. Sophia looked at Bruce. Bruce understood immediately. He reached into his jacket pocket and withdrew his wallet. Inside, folded carefully, was a small photograph of his own. Bruce Lee, San Francisco, 1964. Standing outside a small martial arts studio. Thin. Unknown. Determined. He held up his photograph beside Sophia's. Two legends. Sitting in a Beverly Hills ballroom. Holding photographs of the nobodies they used to be. The photographer took the picture. Linda, sitting on Bruce's other side, watched the entire exchange in quiet amazement. She had never seen Bruce connect with another celebrity like this. Had never seen him drop his guard so completely in a public setting. Later, she would ask him about it. "She understood," Bruce would say, without any explanation, without any context. "She looked at me and saw where I came from, not where I arrived." He would pause. "That's rare. Most people see the success, the fame, the image. She saw the struggle, the hunger, the refusal." He would touch his chest. "She saw the boy from Hong Kong who was told he would never matter. And she showed me the girl from Naples who was told the same thing." He would smile, but with tears in his eyes. "We were the same person. Different bodies. Different languages. Different journeys. But the same person underneath." The photograph from that evening, the one showing Bruce Lee and Sophia Loren holding up their old photographs, was never published. Sophia requested that the negative be given to her. She didn't want it circulated. It was too personal, too revealing, too far beneath the surface of the celebrity images the public expected. The photographer complied. What happened to that photograph remains unknown. Perhaps Sophia kept it. Perhaps Bruce received a copy. Perhaps it exists in an archive somewhere, waiting to be discovered. What matters is what it represented. Two people from completely different worlds recognizing each other. Two journeys that should never have intersected, but did. Two photographs of nobodies held up by somebodies who never forgot where they came from. The remainder of the ceremony passed in a blur for Bruce. He presented his award. He smiled for cameras. He shook hands with executives and producers and the machinery of Hollywood that was finally beginning to notice him. But his mind remained on that conversation. On that photograph of the girl from Naples. On the connection that had formed across all the boundaries that should have separated them. At midnight, as the ceremony concluded, Bruce and Sophia said their goodbyes. "It was wonderful to meet you," Sophia said. "I hope your film is everything you want it to be." "Thank you." Bruce took her hand one more time. "For everything. For the conversation. For showing me that photograph. For seeing me." Sophia smiled. "We see each other. People like us always do. Even across languages. Even across decades. The hunger recognizes itself." She leaned closer. "Never forget the boy from Hong Kong. He's the reason you're standing here. He's the reason any of this matters." "I won't," Bruce said. "And you never forget the girl from Naples." Never. They parted. Bruce Lee never saw Sophia Loren again. For months later, he was dead. Enter the Dragon was released 6 days after his death. It became a global phenomenon. It changed cinema forever. It proved everything Bruce Lee had believed about his own potential. But he never saw it. Sophia Loren continued her career for decades. She remained a legend. She continued to fight for international cinema, for recognition of voices beyond Hollywood's narrow vision. She never spoke publicly about that evening with Bruce Lee, never shared the story of the photographs, never revealed the conversation they had shared. But those who knew her said she kept a small photograph in her purse until the very end of her life. An old photograph of a young Asian man standing outside a martial arts studio in San Francisco. Unknown, determined, refusing to be invisible. Underneath it, in her own handwriting, 3 words. He understood me. March 28, 1973. Beverly, Wilshire Hotel, Los Angeles. A ceremony. A table. A conversation. 2 photographs of 2 nobodies. 2 legends recognizing each other. And a moment that proved that the most important connections are not between stars. They are between strugglers who remember what it cost to become something. The girl from Naples. The boy from Hong Kong. Different worlds. Same fire. Never forget where you came from. It's the only thing that matters. This story is a work of fiction inspired by real-life themes.